Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts back once again, another reaction for you guys. Hey guys, of course, here, check out the newest episode of She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Do not forget that subtitle, Attorney at Law. This is Season 1, Episode 3 of the show, The People versus Emil Blonsky, aka Abomination. Now, I'm quite surprised by the title, because I wasn't expecting the very next episode to be The People versus Emil Blonsky, like essentially, we're going to court now, which it also isn't too surprising, too, especially with the ending of Episode 2, where we get to see a cell phone footage of what we saw in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, where Wong and Abomination are in that tournament type thing that, of course, Shang-Chi gets himself in. So I'm not too surprised, but at the same time, like, I thought they would take a little more time before getting to the point where they go in front of a judge. I have no idea. We'll see what happens here. But, yeah, so Episode 2, I think, overall was interesting because it was really our first time, even though we had episode 1 of the show, obviously, setting up the origins, but episode 2 was more of a, this is what the show is actually going to be, because episode 1 was, the majority of it was setting up her origins and her training with, of course, Bruce. But episode 2 was giving us a better sense of what the show is going to be, because it's really just her life and what she's going to be going through, essentially, her getting the new job and everything, and then she's only hired because she's a Hulk, right? And that's why she was hired. She has to, when she goes to work, she has to be She-Hulk when she goes to work. And then, of course, her first case that she has to accept or else she doesn't have a job is to handle Abomination's case. And the fact that he's writing haikus now, and he gives this whole thing about what was actually happening at the time of the Incredible Hulk in terms of he thought he was going to be the next Captain America, and I was doing this because I was told to do this. And all the things he was saying made sense in a way, but if you go back and watch that movie, sometimes it's like, I think he was pushing himself, but then again, was he really manipulated the way he was saying? Yeah, essentially, that's one way to look at it. I mean, but also people were pointing out in the comments of my video for episode 2, and people were just discussing the show, saying that, well, you know, that's one way to interpret it. There, if you look at it from a different angle, it's possible that at first he made the choices to get to that point. So I don't know, but ultimately he says he's a different person, and the whole thing about, what was it, like 7 or 8, maybe it was 7, a soulmates, people are implying that's Thunderbolts. That's a little tease for Thunderbolts. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, let's get into now, guys. Let's check it out and see what they show us in the 3rd episode of She-Hulk. We're getting through the show. I think there's 9 episodes total, so I think this is 1/3. Correct, yeah, 1/3. This will be 1/3 of the way through the show. So let's get into it, through the shows, guys. Let's go. No hesitation this time.
Explain to me why you failed to mention that.
I said I choose.
I choose difference.
You know, these were extended. And his name is
Wong, just Wong, and
Just Wong.
internet browser lives in New York,
Oh my
or a librarian who lives. I know you can't wait to see Wong. I get
Put
it.
your hands back on the
I
wheel.
just want to make sure that you don't think this is one of those cameo every week type of shows. Just remember whose show this actually is.
Just remember,
Hashtag the big green woman.
the big green woman.
But then they gave it to a woman?
Yeah, man. Sound good. I have no problem with female heroes. I'm just saying, make your own.
I don't know about y'all, but I'd smash.
On the line, you have Daniel Wilson, the original
I
process.
don't only care because I'm representing Emil Blonsky. Once that's over, this whole media circus will die down.
No, it won't. The media circus will not die down.
He's been defrauded by an ex-girlfriend and wants to file a suit against her to get
course.
his money back.
Bought her jewelry. Well, to be fair, I thought I was dating Megan Thee Stallion.
Sorry, what? Sorry, you thought you were dating Megan Thee Stallion?
Miss Walters,
Hello.
received your message.
Oh,
Mr.
hi.
Great entrance.
I extracted him from the prison against his own wishes. I required a worthy opponent as part of my training to become Sorcerer Supreme. Not erasing everyone's memories, not again.
That's not what I was thinking. That's highly unethical.
Hungry.
How much? How much? Dude.
$175,000.
What an idiot.
Whole house in parts of the
Wow.
country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
You scream.
What's up, bro? How's it hanging, man? Deep inside, I knew. You know? I gave this
Wait.
because I wanted to. I was just embarrassed. I love harassing women in the workplace. It's my kick, baby. Not cool.
Not cool. Uh-oh.
Is it true you were rejected by the Avengers?
Oh, What?
Also known as She-Hulk. Are those your soulmates?
Aye.
Oh, so it's not okay. So that whole theory of Thunderbolts. Nope.
We do have a witness who is able to clear Mr. Blonsky of any wrongdoing on his part. The witness is prepared to give a statement.
Yeah, if he shows up.
After Mr. Blonsky gives his.
Yeah.
Are we really
I have changed. Emotionally, physically, metaphysically.
All the words you need to say.
Karmically, cosmically.
He's going into farming.
No, actually, he plans to open a meditation retreat on the property, which is very.
Oh, interesting.
And Blair, Ruth, Marta, Sheila, Alejandra, Yvonne, and Nicolette are my soulmates.
Soulmates.
Met through the prison pen pal.
Any other questions?
They have a lot of questions.
Blonsky started the prison's literacy program.
You saved me from a bad marriage.
That's a color of clothes.
Now the library is more than just a quiet place to shoot someone.
Finally, he's here.
Apologies, Miss
My
Walters.
apologies.
Finally!
Have you ever heard of a kumite?
Nope.
I'd like to move for dismissal of...
She may have diplomatic immunity in New Asgard, but we are not in New Asgard.
Exactly.
Excuse me, Your Honor. My client and Mr. Bukowski were in a consensual relationship and
Well-
engaged in role play.
Oh,
Role
No
play.
rational adult would have believed my client.
Mr. Bukowski was blinded by love.
I can hear about his thing.
Absolutely
Prometheus.
dating the real Megan Thee Stallion. In light of some new information I've just received, I'm changing my ruling.
Nope. No.
Oh, come on,
Nope,
Luna,
nope.
sing a little brawl.
Yes. In regard to Mr. Blonsky vacating his cell, I gave him no choice. I offered him asylum at the Kamar-Taj, which is truly lovely this time of the year.
But he chose not to.
He'd be returned to serve out his sentence.
When Blonsky uncontrollably becomes abomination, isn't he a raging
Uncontrollably?
monster out for blood?
Oh, no, I mean. Jesus.
No. Force is not necessary.
As you can see, I'm in full control.
Ladies and gentlemen, I beg you to forgive Mr. Blonsky's enthusiasm. Mr. Blonsky spent his entire incarceration practicing a strict regimen of training and self-discipline so that future as a free man and a productive citizen.
Does he though?
Thank you, Miss
I don't know. I
We will
am.
adjourn.
Just admitted to facilitating a prisoner escape, which is a crime.
I must depart.
I must depart.
Here to respond to claims that you're one of Blonsky's rumored soulmates.
Oh my god. Oh, well, soulmates.
Powers from a mafia.
Jen, the genie is out of the bottle.
Yeah, there's no going back at this point. It's over. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Dennis Bukowski.
Oh, yeah, no, you're gonna need that.
connecting the A and B story. Nice.
I like that little look.
How would you describe your relationship to Mr. Bukowski?
We
Crappy.
worked together for several years at the DA's office. He once described himself as a New York 10 and an LA 11.
Oh my god.
Mr. Pugliese, get to your point.
Get to the
It's been
point.
stated many
Prometheus.
times in this courtroom that a man of reasonable intelligence.
An almost pathologically entitled man, he would
Ooh.
absolutely believe that he's dating the real
yeah.
Megan Thee Stallion because he is truly that delusional.
That's right. There's only one Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh, she's there. We had heard about this. They're praying.
Any violation of this condition will result in his immediate return to prison.
Understood. Thank you.
The lawyer responsible for his
interview.
release, She-Hulk.
Yeah, my name's Jennifer Walter.
When we come back, She-Hulk shares her diet and exercise secrets.
Sorry, what?
What?
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
When did I ever...
The Wrecking Crew? Is this who this is?
Did you guys rob an Asgardian construction worker?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Nothing. Get out of here. Ooh.
Once you turned into She-Hulk, I couldn't pierce that nasty green skin.
Damn it! Bob's gonna be mad.
Who? Who's the boss? Wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting to see this at 5:30 in the morning. What the hell? It is 5:30 in the morning. I definitely wasn't expecting that. Jesus Christ. Okay, so that just happened. So She-Hulk episode 3. I think overall, pretty solid. You know, I had a good time watching the episode. I hate the fact waking up this early is a pain in the ass. But I enjoyed the episode. There's a couple of things besides that after credit sequence I think was pretty significant about this episode, because I think it was a good continuation after seeing episode 2 and kind of seeing the format of the show. So with this, a few things. Number one, Emil Blonsky, aka Abomination, is free with his seven soulmates, which is okay. During that section where he's talking about that to them, to the parole board, that she's like, okay, we don't need to talk about that further. We don't, but then of course they have all questions like, how? 7? Really? They're working together to help pay for. Okay, whatever. But they all love him apparently. But see, there was a thing. Ooh, it's theorized maybe the 7 soulmates are Thunderbolts. No, it's actually, I have no idea. Anyways, so at least he found people that care for him, because if he truly is reformed, which he's going to wear some sort of inhibitor and everything, and he is not to turn to Abomination. If he does, he's going right back to jail. Then if he truly is reformed, then he should be fine, because he controlled turning into Abomination, and he was talking as Abomination. So it kind of shows that he definitely is reformed. There's a lot of people talking online about the fact that Abomination's in the show, and they feel like they were going to be ruining Abomination's character. Well, this is not the comics. What I was trying to say, this is not the comics. This is the MCU. Things are different. Things change. We can either like it or dislike it. Just depends on the approach. But the context of what we saw in this episode, because we've seen the clip of him, I'm sorry, putting, wrapping around that like thing or whatever, like to cover himself up when he turns back to Emil Blonsky, because his clothes are gone. In the context of that actual scene, seeing the full thing, he's proving to the parole board that he willingly turned into the Abomination. He's in control when he's in the Abomination, versus when he was the Abomination in the Incredible Hulk 2008 film, he was not in control. Like, maybe he was, but like literally it was a very different, Abomination, very different person. So here, he proved he can turn into Abomination, and he's in control of it and everything, and he chose not to turn into Abomination, only when Wong showed up. Which, that whole thing was funny as well, to see Wong. It was great to see him. It feels like literally we're getting into the Wong cinematic universe, because Wong just appears everywhere. And then that one guy in the parole board, you just admitted to committing a crime because you broke him out. I must leave now. He's out. He's gone. I love that. I love his character so much. I'm so happy that they keep using him. And of course, he is Sorcerer Supreme, so it makes sense that he's going to pop up from time to time. But I love the fact that they're actually giving him like a lot of roles in many different places. I think it's really cool, because they literally could only have him appearing in Doctor Strange films or Avengers films, but they found other ways to include him in other projects. And I feel like we're going to keep seeing him for quite some time. Like, he's a character that's not going to go away anytime soon. So, the Wrecking Crew, a version of the Wrecking Crew, not the version we expect, but it seemed kind of that way, with their weapons and everything, and and I love that thing. She's like, "Did you guys rob an Asgardian construction worker?" Yeah. Like, they openly admit it, but she was targeted because they were gonna stab her with, I guess they were gonna try to get her blood, which I think, because Bruce said that. Bruce said there may be somebody out there trying to steal your blood or my blood. That's why he destroyed it in episode 1. We saw that huge, the lasers and destroying her blood when he was doing samples. So they were hired by somebody, whoever the boss is, and I don't know who that could be. But the boss was targeting her specifically. Interesting. So that means is Emil Blonsky in danger as well? Because whoever this boss is wants, apparently, her blood, Bruce's blood. Could the boss want to go after Emil Blonsky because of the radiation? I'm not really sure. I don't know. Maybe trying to find the formula of how you can turn. Maybe the boss is in relation to Thunderbolts. Now, I know Thunderbolt Ross, of course, the actor William Hurt, I believe his name was William Hurt, he passed away. But there could be somebody else behind the scenes that's going to be forming the Thunderbolts, and whoever that is could be the boss. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see about that. But that was interesting. Little thing there. And she, of course, had to defend herself. And at first she's like, oh no. She's like, oh wait. And then she turns into She-Hulk. And takes them out. And it was like nothing. They were hitting her with all the different weapons. It did nothing to her. Nothing. And just throwing guys and slamming one into another. It was great. It was a good sequence. Lots of lawyering in this episode for sure. Which was great. I think one of my favorite moments is just because I love the actor so much is Josh Segarra. I think it's how I pronounce his name, Josh, aka Prometheus from Arrow. Seeing him take on that one guy's case who he spent $175,000 on a woman from New Asgard who was pretending to be Megan the Stallion, which I'll be honest, I've never said those words before. Megan the Stallion. I've never said that before in my life. I've only heard about this person a couple other times, but I've never said the name out loud, so that felt kind of weird. So we had heard earlier this week that Megan the Stallion was going to be having a role in this in the show. I said episode. My brain, it's 5:43 in the morning, but we had heard she was going to be in the show, but I didn't expect episode 3. But I guess it's like, hey, promotion, right? Promotion. Maybe they did say episode 3, but regardless. So we have her, and she's impersonating like the new Asgardian. She's impersonating different people. She impersonates Josh's character. Well, first she impersonates the asshole essentially that Jennifer worked with, and we saw him in the first episode, and we saw him in the second episode, and he's just an ass. He's just an ass, and she went on the stand, of course, to not, defend him in a way, but essentially reveal that, yeah, he would believe he was dating Megan the Stallion because he's that dumb, with bigger and grander words than that. But you get what I'm saying. He's so self-entitled, and just the way he thinks, the way he acts, of course he would think he's actually dating Megan the Stallion, the artist. So yeah, spending $175,000. What a dumbass. We've heard actual stories, people actually spending that kind of money and even more on people that aren't actually the people they say they are. It's kind of sad. But in this case, this guy kind of deserved it. But he won the case, surprisingly. But also, so she kept going around pretending to be everybody, including the judge, which that's why she gets 60 days in jail for impersonating the judge. Like right after he leaves, she goes up there as him and is like, I've changed my mind. It's like the tone and the actual personality, like it's completely different. So it's clear it's not actually the judge. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of obvious. So I guess she didn't really learn too much about how to actually act like the actual person to make it more believable. But anyways, but seeing Josh in this show is interesting because I remember hearing about him being casted, and I wasn't sure how often he was going to pop up. But the fact that he had his own storyline going on, like, you know, taking on this guy's case, and just some of the words and the way he just comes across, it just reminds me of Prometheus, Adrian Chase. Which, you know, it's kind of crazy because it's like he was a villain and people are saying, well, he also was, you know, like his position in the show is kind of similar to Arrow in terms of job. Like, okay, interesting little tie in there. And then people also point out that he's working with superheroes that are green, or, you know, he's an adjacent to working with people who are green superheroes. And like, it's kind of crazy how he went from Arrow to this. It's kind of bizarre, but at the same time, I think it works. You know, it's just interesting. Interesting, it really is. Okay, so there's something. How do I word this? There was a thing they did in this episode that I think is going to get a lot of people talking online, and of course, we're talking about the comments in the videos of people talking about She-Hulk early on in the episode when we go through all the different newscasters and all the people talking, and you go to social media and you see certain typed comments and certain videos from two different people that are really, really implying that they're going after the people who are hating on this show and making videos and saying the show is woke and all that, and they were doing their own interpretation. We had heard that the show was going to be addressing and going and not really going after, but really like breaking the fourth wall in a sense to kind of address this, and having people comment saying, you know, we don't need female superheroes. And I forget the exact like ones, but I remember like the one guy said, make your own superheroes or whatever. You don't need to be like, you know, latching off a Hulk or something. Like it was something to that effect. it's definitely going to get a lot of people talking. It is. It is. I'm really curious to read online to see what people are saying, because I feel like it's an interesting little thing. I don't agree with the people that say, you know, that are against every single thing now that Marvel's putting out, because there's, of course, all those videos going out there saying the show is woke, and they're trying to find every little thing to make a gigantic rant video on. I don't agree with it. It's not my type of content. I'm not going to sit here and give you my 2 cents on all that, really going to in depth, because ultimately this is my content. I'm making my own videos, and I'm going to give you my opinions, and that's it. You know, I just think it's interesting that they address that. Interesting. Anyways, moving on. So now Emil Blonsky's out. And she was saying within the episode, well, I'm ready for this to be over so I can go back to, you know, just being myself and don't really knowing. No, you're hired as the She-Hulk to represent people in court. That's not going to happen. You know, you're not going to go back to being anonymous, especially after that was a terrible interview, by the way, that she had. And it's not her fault. That guy wasn't actually asking her legitimate questions. He was just being an ass and going, so how'd you get the name She-Hulk? And when we come back from break, she's going to be talking about her diet and exercise and all this stuff. And she's like, huh? And then it cuts away. But it's like, it's ridiculous that all these people are wanting interviews. But then the realistic thing is that if that anybody she really gave an interview like to, or did an interview with, like agreed with, they probably would have went that same route. And also too, when she's going into the prison, of course, for the board hearing, there's that one person. Are you? Were you rejected by the Avengers? Like, there's a rumor you were rejected by the Avengers. She doesn't want to be a hero. But I think that little moment there where she actually fought a version of Wrecking Crew, that's pretty much going to be setting up that, yeah, she might end up being a hero. Like, she's going to. We know that. But the turning point might have been at that moment. So yeah. And that's working at the end. The twerking and the dancing. Okay. I don't know. It's too damn early for this crap. I'm assuming a lot of people are going to be really confused on it, or they're going to love it. And all the thing, there was that one guy. I guess that one guy loved it because he said he'd smash. Okay. Anyways, this show is weird at times, but I think it has to be. You know. Also, I liked her quote, and I just now remember this. I liked her line about, you know, just remember whose show this is. You know, the Bruce does pop up in Wong, but don't forget whose show this is. Like, we're not forgetting. Don't worry. So overall, had a good time with the episode. Some weird moments, but overall enjoyed it. And that one little fourth wall break where she comes in because Josh, I forget his character name, Prometheus comes in and he sits down at the bar, and then they're sitting there in the little corner booth or whatever, and he's like, and then she bucks in like, A and B plot interconnected, like a way of like saying we're interconnecting the two plot points. It just leans in, leans out. Anyways, I'm done now. I'm gonna go. I gotta edit this video and get it ready for upload. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm curious to know what you guys thought about this episode of She-Hulk Attorney at Law. I'm curious to know your thoughts. Whatever thoughts you have, let me know in the comments below this video. I will talk to you guys soon. It's too damn early. Peace out.